In a world where everything is digital, you may be a victim of identity theft. And here is what you need to know. Someone else out there may be pretending to be you. All because these companies that you entrusted your data to has failed to establish a proper cybersecurity staff and personnel out there to safeguard your data. So stay tuned, because we are going into a deep dive of what companies may have lost your data and why. Let's go back to 2022, when Twitter, pre-Elon, decided to lay off 50% of its staff, starting the uptrend of layoffs, which led into 2023, where we witnessed a troubling trend of companies laying off their IT and cybersecurity staff, opting to outsource or not even replace the staff that was laid off. When they outsourced, they went for the cheapest labor markets they could find. Is this negligence the reason to why we have more data leaks than ever before? Or is there another reason to why data leaks are occurring? And now, in 2024, you can see how this may have potentially impacted the world. On July 12th, 2024, AT&T put out a public notice and a statement addressing a legal download of customer data. Yes, illegal download. Not only did customers lose their data, but the scale of the breach should be a wake-up call for everyone. We trust companies like AT&T, Trello, and Disney Plus to safeguard our data. But now Trello and Disney Plus are also under speculation of losing customer personal information, such as emails, credit card data, names, and where you live. When these corporations lose our personal information, they face little to no consequences. And what are we left with? Maybe a $20 to $30 check in the mail saying sorry, and maybe some data monitoring for a few years, while someone else out there may have opened up a bank information in our name, stolen our data, or accessed who we text messaged to, because according to AT&T, the intruders may have allegedly accessed text messages and call records of who you texted and who you called, along with your name, account information, and the phone numbers listed on your account. Yes, could even be your kids' phone numbers. Currently, Trello and Disney are investigating the compromised allegations and claim they are currently false. However, Disney and Trello allegations are huge, because the Disney estimated file size is 1.8 terabytes of data, which is well over 31 million text records, each holding 1,000 entries. Now, you may say there's more people in the world than what was compromised, but again, that is an estimation. And many people carry multiple accounts or create new ones when they forget their usernames and passwords. What is even worse than that is AT&T's compromise that they just notified us about in 2024 occurred in 2022, 2 years later. Do you know how fast it takes for someone to just pose as you, to open up a checking account as you, It can take minutes, hours, maybe even seconds if they do it in this digital age. But 2 years later, we are finding out that the entire data set has been lost, that they're working with authorities to arrest individuals. If Trello and Disney are truly compromised and we find out that they're not allegations, when are we going to know about this? Are we even ever going to know about this? How does that make sense? Why does the general public suffer again? See, in the UK, there are data privacy laws, and they are enforced, where if a company loses data, they have to report it in 72 hours. And if a customer's or person's freedoms or rights are restricted or generally taken away, they need to report it to that individual. However, this still does not protect the general public. These laws are generally not enough to secure that individual. And when it really comes down to securing your data, it comes down to a company having a good staff behind them that knows how to perform and protect your data, along with provide proper security controls and monitoring to detect, identify, and limit the potential loss of your personal information. However, the laws are not always kept and used to secure our data. For example, it only takes 72 hours for them to report it. That's not securing and protecting your data, your personal information. No. Instead, it really comes down to the cybersecurity staff and personnel that this company has hired and staffed to protect people. See, hackers, or also known as advanced persistent threats, or nationwide attackers, such as countries that are looking to attack and steal data and information, will always attack a company because that company is listed in this digital world we live in. It is publicly exposed on the internet. However, that does not mean your data and your personal information is publicly exposed and out there. And that is why having a good cybersecurity staff and personnel monitoring, securing, and protecting your data is the difference between having a simple security guard that is just monitoring, sleeping on the job, or having an actual staff like Secret Service protecting your personal information as if you were the president and needed that type of protection. So if the company is choosing to have layoffs and lay off their IT staff, which is knowledgeable and knows how to secure that data, and also lay off the cybersecurity staff, which is constantly knowledgeable and looking to monitor, protect, and detect threats and eliminate threats before they even are capable of accessing that data or exfiltrating the data from the company. Yes, exfiltrating as in exporting the data from inside the company to outside the company. If they have a cybersecurity staff capable of performing that, then your data is most likely safe, and the cybersecurity staff is monitoring and heavily trained and heavily prepared. Why do these data losses keep happening? Well, when a company chooses to lay off their IT and cybersecurity staff and choose a staff that is not knowledgeable or trained because it's cheaper to hire cheaper labor from outsourcing other countries and other personnel that is cheaper per the hour? Well, a lot of companies look at that and say, hey, I can hire this staff from another country. I can hire externally and actually save my money on my budget yearly. And this might actually be cheaper than it is to protect the incident. So if I do end up having an incident, the incident and the staff that I'm paying is cheaper because it's just data that they're losing than it is to staff qualified individuals in those roles. To put that in layman's terms, it is cheaper to hire externally and still risk having an incident than it is to hire internally and protect the data in the first place. Yes, companies that are reducing the cybersecurity staff and personnel to save budgets and cuts where it may be needed may potentially be accepting the risk of losing data. And the people that they hire to replace the people they laid off to accept those budget cuts may potentially be in another country, monitoring your data where laws may be different than they are in the country you live in. Yes, those laws that apply in your country may not apply to them. Why is this even allowed? How is this something that people, the general public, even allows? Or better yet, is it something that the general public doesn't even know about? The only way to stop this is to demand better. Better from companies that take our data and take security seriously. This is what needs to be done. There are so many security individuals right now that are getting laid off on the daily because companies refuse to pay the proper price to secure the data. But the truth of the matter is, data is getting lost, and it's getting lost out there by the minute. Look at your inbox. Is there spam that is currently in there that's from a company you previously had? Does your account number actually still match, but you know it's not legitimate because that company hasn't emailed you in 2 to 3 years? Or maybe you're getting a ton of robocalls and text messages with links on it for information of your data and saying, click on this because your UPS package has arrived. How did they get your number? How did they find you? Your data wasn't sold. It wasn't something that was just given up because that's against the law. They can't sell that data. No. Instead, it was compromised, and it may not have even been reported. The company may not even know that your data was compromised. And that could potentially happen because they don't even have a cybersecurity staff to tell them that their data was lost. Should companies be allowed to have that plausible deniability by saying out of sight, out of mind? Is that even fair to the general public? The sad part is, the only way to recover your data, the only way to fix an issue is to open up a legal lawsuit. And who has the money to hire a lawyer to track down these companies and fight these major corporations? Who even has the time or even knows how to gather enough information to show that their data was lost by that company? Nobody. So do we need to demand better from these companies? Do we need to demand that these companies actually hire the proper cybersecurity staff, the proper IT individuals that are locally in the same country as the data resides? Or should they at least be vetted and allowed to work in that area and have and follow the same laws of where that country and data reside. For example, if that data is in England, should the individuals have to live and work in England, or at least have the ability to have laws that are stricter or just as severe as England, and be able to be exported to England and be arrested if that data is lost? It's clear that we need stronger protections and accountability when it comes to our personal data. We can't afford to be complacent while our information is neglected and mishandled. It's time to take a stand and demand better from the companies that we trust, that we entrust our data to. Because our data is valuable, and so is our peace of mind. We trust these companies to hold the data, so they should be transparent with their security and proper handling of our information. So help your local cybersecurity individuals stay employed and avoid layoffs by demanding that the companies keep hiring individuals in the same country of where your data resides. Knowing that your data is protected by an individual that is local in the same country will give you a peace of mind. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more updates on cybersecurity, and stay informed, stay safe, and take control of your digital life. Remember, we can either improve our cybersecurity throughout the world, or we can fail together.